All right, you guys, welcome back. So let's step it up just a little bit and make life a lot more interesting. So 2x squared plus 17x plus 30. Okay, so now I want to factor these. Okay, and really what it is, okay, is we've come up with these methods because honestly, this is what my math teacher did. My math teacher wrote down two parentheses and she said, okay, those are both plus signs. So here's a plus, here's a plus. And then she basically said, okay, fill in the blanks. And we just sat there quietly until we figured it out. Okay. And that was called trial and error. Okay. Basically, we sat and figured it out. Okay. I will give you some confidence. Okay. I was the one who usually figured it out. Okay. This was my favorite topic in all of the world because for me, it was like solving a puzzle. But most of you don't want to sit here all day and just think. Okay. So, what can we do to make life easier? Okay. This is where that X puzzle still comes in handy. Okay. But the difference between the last video and the first video, okay, or the last video and this video, okay, all of your problems started with x squared, but now we have a 2x squared, okay? It still works, okay? You're going to take 2 times 30, okay? And it's a plus 30, so 2 times 30 gives you 60. If it had been a negative 30, you would have put 2 times negative 30. So I'm going to put 60 here, okay? So that was from 2 times 30. And then I'm going to put 17 down here. Okay, so now I need a multiplication problem for 60. So two numbers that multiply to give me 60, and two numbers, those two numbers should add up to be 17. Okay, so that's going to be 12 and 5. Okay, all right, so because we multiplied by 2, okay, to make that happen, we at some point have to undo that multiplication. So we undo that with division. Okay. So because we did 2 times 30, we're going to have to undo that process. And this is where we undo that process. So x plus 12, x plus 5, we divided those two by 2. Okay, so that's how we undo the multiplication step. All right, and now I need to simplify this, okay? And you're thinking, well, how are you going to simplify 5 over 2? This is what I mean by that. So x plus 6, because 12 divided by 2 is 6. Now x plus 5 over 2, well, 5 over 2, I can't really simplify it. You're right. It is simplified, but I don't want a fraction there, okay? I want it to be a nice whole number. So I'm going to move this 2 in front of the x, and I'm going to say 2x plus 5. Okay. Now I know for some of you are like, what? Okay. The method is called slide and divide. Okay. I've also seen snowflake. I've seen all kinds of different things that it's called, but a lot of people call it slide and divide. Now I'll be honest. Okay. I'm like, all right, but here's the slide part. Okay. There's the slide. Okay, and then there's the division part. I honestly, I just don't like it. Okay, but that's what it's called. I just learned, okay, that if I multiply these two, okay, I had to divide to undo that multiplication step. Okay, I would prefer it be called multiply and divide because then at least you know, okay, I multiply, then I divide. All right, so if I type that in, x plus 6, okay, so I'm going to type in my parentheses, see how I did. Remember, I could type 2x plus 5 first, and then type x plus 6. Yes, there you go. Okay, and you can see here, okay, he does a different approach. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that approach. Okay, he's doing a guess and check. Okay, and see all the different guesses, okay, that he went through. Okay, we're avoiding that. We're avoiding having to do guess and check. Okay, all right, new problem. So I have 5x squared plus 42x plus 49. Okay. Now, I know some of these larger numbers, you're probably thinking to yourself, I can't do this. Yeah, you can. You get your calculator out. Okay. All right. So, draw my X puzzle. So, I'm going to do 5 times 49. So, 5 times 49. I get 245. Then I'm going to put 42 down at the bottom. Okay. All right. Now, I do this every time when I teach it for the first time. So I'm teaching it to you the way I teach it for the very first time. Okay. All right. You take 245, you divide by 1, then you divide by 2. And if it's a decimal, you skip it. 245 divided by 3. Okay. What I'm looking for, okay, is I'm looking for when I take 1 and 245, can I get 42? No. Decimals, I skip. 245 divided by 4. So 4 and 61.25, I can't get, that's a decimal, I skip it. 245 divided by 5, okay? All right, I got 5 and I got 49, okay? That's not going to give me 42. It's close, but it's not going to give me 42. So 245 divided by 6, I skip it. And some of you might get like, you're like, oh, I kind of actually know, or I have an idea. But I teach my students divide by 1, divide by 2, divide by 3, divided by 4, divided by 5, especially for numbers that they don't know. Okay. And this is where you got to keep an eye on it because you might skip it if you're going too fast because it's right here. 7 and 35. When I add those, I will get 42. So I put 7 and I put 35. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to write x plus 7, x plus 35, and I have to undo that multiplication step with a division step. So I divide each one by 5. So I get 5x plus 7 because there's nothing to do with that. Okay, and I don't want a fraction. And 35 divided by 5, well, that's 7. Plus 7. All right. So what if you're thinking to yourself, you're like, Miss Barfield, I have no clue if I'm right. Like if I do all this work, how do I know this one and this one are the right answer? How do I know that this one to this one is the right answer? Okay. Well, this is where if you remember your connections, okay, your connection is that this is a picture. Okay. This is a quadratic, which means if I were to graph it, it would be a parabola. Okay, so I'm going to bring this off here really quick, or bring my keyboard. Okay, so if I slide Delta Math over here and I open up Desmos, okay, you're like, Ms. Barfield, how do I know? Okay, 5x squared plus 42x plus 49. Okay, all right, and if I zoom out a little bit, I got it. Okay, how do I know I got it right? Well, now I'm going to type in my answer, or what I think is my answer. So 5x plus 7, parentheses, x plus 7. And look at that. Close my parentheses. Okay, my red graph and my blue graph are actually right on top of each other. Okay, because if I click them off, there's my blue, or my red one. My blue one's going to go right on top of it, which means I've drawn the same picture. So that tells me that these two are equivalent, they're equal, okay, which means I have the correct answer. Okay, and I'm going to copy and paste that over here into Delta Math. Submit. Yes, there you go. Okay, all right, so let's do another one. Okay, so 5x squared plus 31 plus 6. Okay, all right, so let's bring my camera back up. Oops. So 5x squared plus 31x plus 6 So my X puzzle is 5 times 6, which is 30, 31. Okay. All right. Well, that's 1 and 30. Okay. Because 1 times 30 is 30, and 1 plus 30 is 31. So X plus 1 times X plus 30. And this is where Desmos would be a great check, because if you got here and you're like, oh, I'm done, I'm good, but you said to yourself, no, I'm going to type every single one of these into Desmos and I'm going to check, you would see that these are not equivalent, that your two parabolas do not match. And then maybe then that will like stir you to say, oh, I've multiplied, so now I need to divide. So I got to divide by 5. So I'm going to slide that up. 5x plus 1. I'm going to divide x plus 30 divided by 5, which is 6. Okay, so if you do that, okay, that should help you. Okay, all right. I think you're good for these set of problems that are level 1. I'll come back in another video.